Welcome to the court team. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here for this ultimate beginner's clinic. Look, whether you've literally never picked up a racket in your life or you've just played a few casual games at a backyard barbecue and want to actually figure out the mechanics, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the absolute essentials of badminton with this comprehensive explainer. As your coach, I am completely obsessed with taking these complex athletic movements and breaking them down into simple, easy-to-grasp building blocks. By the time we wrap up this session, you're going to have the knowledge and honestly the confidence to step onto that hardwood and really play the game. So let's get into it.
All right, here's our game plan for today's clinic. First, a quick welcome to the court. Then we'll move into mastering the fundamentals, followed by building your arsenal of shots. After that, we'll cover serving and scoring, and finally, we'll wrap up with my personal coach's training routine.
Section 1. Welcome to the court. Understanding the game.
So what's really fascinating about badminton is how the whole dynamic shifts depending on the format. It's an incredibly fast-paced racket sport, right? And the ultimate goal is simple. Hit the shuttlecock over the net so it lands in your opponent's territory. But you've got two main ways to do this. First up, singles. This is one player on each side. It is a grueling test of your individual stamina and speed because, well, you're responsible for every single square inch of your side of the court. Then you've got doubles. Two players on each side, working as a team. This format, it's all about communication, rapid-fire reflexes, and being totally synchronized. Both are absolutely fantastic, but they require totally different mindsets. Okay, before we start running drills, we need to make sure you've got the right gear. Let's run through our locker room checklist. You don't need a ton of stuff, but what you do need is absolutely essential. First, obviously, your badminton racket. Next, a shuttlecock, which you probably know as a birdie. Then, and this is a big one for injury prevention, you need comfortable sports shoes with a really good grip. You're going to be changing direction on a dime out there, so a solid base is non-negotiable. And finally, a badminton court. Once you've got those four things, you're officially ready to go. Moving on to Section 2, mastering the fundamentals, grip, stance, and movement. Honestly, the most crucial takeaway in this entire explainer starts right here, how you hold the racket. A lot of beginners just grab the handle in this massive death grip. Don't do that. Instead, I want you to simply shake hands with the racket. Imagine greeting a friend. It's firm enough to connect, but totally relaxed. Why? Because a loose grip is the secret to explosive speed. It lets your wrist snap like a whip right at the exact moment of impact. If you squeeze too tight, your muscles lock up, and your shots are just going to be slow and clunky. Keep it loose. Let's move to your physical posture. Before every single shot, you need to be in the ready position. Think of yourself as a coiled spring. Step 1, get those feet shoulder-width apart so you're balanced. Step 2, keep the knees slightly bent. Never, ever lock your knees on the court. Step 3, hold that racket up and right out in front of you so you can react instantly. And step 4, stay super light on your feet. You should practically be bouncing on the balls of your feet, ready to dart anywhere in a fraction of a second. Now that you're in that ready stance, we gotta talk movement. Badminton is a game of elite footwork. You have to practice moving efficiently, forward, backward, sideways right, and sideways left. But here is the absolute golden rule of badminton footwork. Always return to the center of the court. Picture a starburst pattern on the floor. You launch from the center, strike the shuttle, and immediately bounce back to home base in the middle. By owning that center spot, you cut off your opponent's angles and make it so much easier to defend your territory. Section 3, your arsenal of shots, the 4 basic strikes. All right, team, let's build out your offensive and defensive playbook. We're kicking it off with the foundational clear shot. This is a shot that sends the shuttlecock super high into the air and deep, deep into the very back of your opponent's court. The clear shot is literally your best friend when you're under pressure. If you're completely out of position and just need a second to breathe and reset, you hit a high clear. It buys you that precious recovery time and forces your opponent all the way to the back line. Next up, a shot that is all about finesse and deception, the drop shot. Unlike the clear, which is all about distance, the drop shot is designed to just barely graze the top of the net and immediately dive bomb into the front of the opponent's court. It is such a brilliant tactical move. If you see your opponent hanging out at the back line waiting for a deep clear, you hit them with a soft drop. Suddenly, they are sprinting forward in a total panic. It pulls them right out of their comfort zone. And now, the shot everybody loves, the ultimate crowd pleaser, the smash. This is hands down the most aggressive, powerful weapon you have. It's an attacking shot, hit with maximum speed and downward force. Think of it exactly like a spike in volleyball. You unleash the smash when your opponent accidentally hits the shuttle too high and short. You jump up and you just hammer it down. A well-executed smash is nearly impossible to return, and it's your absolute go-to finishing move. Our fourth basic strike is the drive shot. This one is pure speed and reflex. A drive is a fast, entirely flat shot that just zooms straight across the net, parallel to the floor. You'll see this constantly in pro doubles matches, or those really aggressive, rapid-fire exchanges where nobody wants to lift the shuttle into the air. It's almost like a punching motion, keeping constant pressure on your opponent. If you can master these four, the clear, the drop, the smash, and the drive, you can control absolutely any match. Section 4. Serving and scoring. Starting rallies and winning games. Look, you can have the most powerful smash on the planet, but if you can't start the point legally, it literally doesn't matter. Let's talk serving mechanics. There are strict rules here. First, hold the shuttle carefully by the feathers. Second, the point of contact where your racket meets the shuttle absolutely must be below your waist. Hit it too high, and that's a fault. Third, you've got to aim diagonally across the net into the opposite service box. And finally, and I cannot stress this enough as your coach, prioritize control over raw power. You're not trying to blast it past them. You're trying to accurately place it in a tricky spot to set yourself up for the win. So, how do we actually win this thing? The magic number is 21. We use what's called a rally scoring system. This just means a point is awarded on every single serve, no matter who served it. If you win the rally, you get the point. Your goal is simply to be the first one to hit 21. But what if the game is incredibly close and you end up tied at 20-20? That is where the tiebreaker rule kicks in. At 20-20, the first to 21 no longer wins. Instead, you have to win by a clear 2-point margin. So you're playing to 22-20, or maybe 24-22, and so on. It ensures the game is won by decisively outplaying your opponent in clutch moments, rather than just getting a lucky bounce on the final point. Section 5. Coach's training routine, tips, and drills. All right, let's bring it in for a quick huddle before we finish up today. Here are my top pro tips for you as you're starting out. Number 1, practice regularly. Muscle memory is literally everything. Number 2, focus on your footwork. That fancy racket is totally useless if your feet don't get you to the shuttle in time. 3, keep your eyes locked on the shuttle at all times. 4, and this is a biggie, don't always swing as hard as you can. Finesse and smart placement will win you just as many points as sheer power. And finally, stay patient. Every single Olympic gold medalist started exactly where you are today, holding a racket, figuring out how to stand. I'm definitely not letting you leave this clinic without some homework. I want you to try this brilliant solo exercise called the Keep Up Drill. It is perfect for building hand-eye coordination and racket control. It's super simple. Step 1, tap the shuttles straight up with your racket. Step 2, keep it bouncing in the air for as long as possible without letting it hit the floor. Step 3, count your consecutive hits. Aim for 10, then try 20, then 50. It sounds incredibly easy, but it requires deep focus and trains your wrist to make those tiny micro adjustments you'll desperately need during a real game. And just like that, our beginner's clinic comes to a close. You now know the court, the gear, the footwork, the basic shots, and the rules of the game. All that's left is for you to actually put in the reps. But before we officially wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about everything we've talked about today. Visualize yourself out there on the court. As you develop your own unique play style, what do you think is going to be your favorite badminton shot? Do you want to rain down pure power with the smash? Outsmart your opponent with a sneaky drop shot? Control the pace with a massive high clear? Or get into lightning-fast reflex battles with the drive? Picture your game, go grab your racket, and I will see you out on the court.